Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 5 preview between the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Saints.
Offensively, the Saints are still able to put up points in bunches despite struggling to run the football. Now, in order to fix the running issue, I think it has more to do with philosophy and not personnel in the backfield. I believe the quick hitters such as your inside zone, the dive pitch, gap, and weave runs are more suited for the Saints style of play, and they're going to have to get that going this week versus the Bears. Defensively, the hallmark of this year's Saints team has been the ability to, 1, create turnovers, and 2, get off the field on third downs. But what we saw last week, as well as what we saw versus the Cardinals, showed that the Saints tend to over-pursue and get out of position at the second level. And if that happens this week versus Chicago, once again, Matt Forte is the type of back that can make you pay. Now let's move over to Chicago in this ballgame, and the Bears can come into this matchup versus New Orleans with a lot of optimism because offensively, they have the pieces to cause problems for that Saints defense. I would look for more opportunities for wide receiver Earl Bennett and tight end Martellus Bennett, especially over the middle of the field where I feel as though the Saints are most vulnerable. Defensively, the Bears are an intelligent group whose football IQ and awareness puts them in position to make plays consistently game in, game out. This week versus New Orleans, I expect they'll get creative in how they move Julius Peppers, the talented defensive end, around the front four and possibly into coverage to create big play opportunities. And also look for the secondary to be very active within that first 5 yards to try to throw up the timing of the Saints passing game.
I believe the New Orleans Saints can get pressure on Jay Cutler when the Bears go to their empty formation where they have Matt Forte out in the slot as well as Martellus Bennett in the slot by utilizing a 3-4 plug blitz. And with the plug blitz signifies that we're plugging the inside gaps. A and B gap will get plugged, hopefully creating that interior pressure. And we're going to drop 3 guys underneath and 3 guys deep. So we have the cornerbacks responsible for their deep third. And what we're going to do, we're going to have the strong safety drop in the hole as the third underneath guy, free safety dropping back into deep third. So you have 1, 2, 3 guys deep in the deep third coverage, and we're going to have 3 guys underneath. So you got 1 right here, 1 coverage, underneath coverage, protecting the middle of the field. And how we're going to plug the A gap, first we're going to send the 5 techniques: upfield, plan, contain, C gap, contain. We're going to have the nose tackle push hard in this A gap. Inside backer here is going to cross the face, get into that B gap, and we're sending the inside backer as well on the A gap. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys getting pressure. So it's going to create a situation where 1 guy is going to be open because someone's going to have to help out on one of these A gap protectors, hopefully create an opportunity for the inside backer, hopefully create an opportunity for the nose. Someone's going to be open. Someone's going to have to beat a one-on-one block. We have the linebacker dropping back underneath as well as here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're getting 5 guys with pressure up front. So that's one way the Saints can't create pressure versus Jay Cutler when the Bears go to that empty formation when they utilize the back and the tight end in the slot. The New Orleans Saints have run a lot of 3-3-5 so far this season, and if I'm the Chicago Bears, if I see the Saints aligned in a 3-3-5 alignment, I jump into the I formation and I'm going to run this play here. I'm going to show you a great play versus the 3-3-5, a pass play that they can run that puts them in position for success. What we're going to do, we're going to fake the handoff weak side. Get that weak side action flow going, and the fullback's job is to read the whip. If the whip is blitzing, he's the hot receiver right here. And if that whip is blitzing, we're going to have the running back pick him up. So the running back is responsible for 2 guys, weak side, the whip, as well as the inside, the outside backer stacked behind the 5 technique. And if this guy doesn't come, then tailback releases right there, giving Jay Cutler an outlet. And you also have the built-in hot read right here with the fullback flaring out in the flat, because we're running a 15-yard in route on the outside versus man. This is great because you have your receivers running away with the cornerbacks. So we have a dig right here, 10 to 5 to 15 coming across. Puts the free safety in the bind. He's going to have to make a choice. You have a 2-on-1 deep down the field. Now you have the tight end job is to block the stud backer. If he's sitting up here blocking the stud backer, if this guy doesn't come and drops into zone, he releases out in the flat. So now Jay Cutler has 2 flat defenders, or I'm sorry, 2 outlet defenders, right, receivers in your tailback and your tight end. The hot read, built-in hot read with the fullback going into the flat, and you also have the big body receivers running big body routes, an in route and a dig route, putting the free safety in the bind. It high-lows your hook to curl coverage. This is a great play versus zone, and also a great play versus man because, you, like I said before, you have your receivers running away from the cornerback. So Jay Cutler can play fake. Forgot to draw the play fake. Turn his back, play fake, turn around. He can see the deep. He can read short. Or if he sees a blitz, he doesn't even have to turn around. He can get the football out to the flat with the fullback. So that's one way the Bears can combat the Saints 3-3-5 with the pass. I think they can have a great chance to do so in hitting big plays downfield with Jeffrey as well as Brandon Marshall.
The X factor for the Saints this week will be the inside linebackers. I spoke about it earlier in the video, how they tend to over pursue versus the run. That can't happen this week. Otherwise, they're going to get gashed once again for big plays on the ground. The X factor for the Bears in this ballgame will be their offensive tempo. I believe they have the personnel as well as the skill to make it work versus the Saints, to put that defense in the bind. So go hurry up, go no huddle, allow Jay Cutler to make checks at the line. I think they can have a lot of success versus the Saints defense. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ballgame. For New Orleans, we've talked about this all video long. They must maintain gap integrity, especially at the second level. And when we look at Kenny Vaccaro, they're going to utilize him all over the secondary, maybe locked up versus Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, Earl Bennett. Wherever he's lined up in the secondary, he has to win those one-on-one battles. And I would also run power plays with Darren Sproles. He's diminutive, he has the speed, he has the burst, and you get him on the move with those guards and he can hide behind. He has the opportunity to pick which lane he wants to go through and burst right through it. Could result to big plays on the ground for New Orleans. For the Bears in this game, I would zone blitz with Julius Peppers. Here's a guy that still has the athleticism to drop back in a short, flat area and cover the backs. I would trust that in certain situations because he still has the ability to make plays out in space. And you also want to stay alert for the backs in the passing game. The Saints do a great job of utilizing their backs in the passing game as a supplement to their running attack. And I would create mismatches on offense with formations. Like I said before, the Bears have the ability, they have the personnel to be just like the Saints and get creative in their formations to create those optimal mismatches, and they can take advantage of them. I like the Saints in this ball game. When you look at this matchup between two outstanding football teams in the NFC, both teams right now are playing some good football on offense. But when you look at the defense, you have to side with the Saints defense over the Bears defense. Rarely would you ever say that, but the Saints right now are playing very good defensive football in the front seven and on the back end in the secondary. So I like the Saints to go on the road and knock off the Bears. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Saint fan forums and Bear fan forums for always showing football game plan support.